So, Digital Trends posted this article a couple days ago talking about why you shouldn't buy the brand new Google Pixel Fold, which, to be honest, I highly disagree with because I absolutely love this phone. But let's go ahead and talk about it. So, they list off 4 different reasons on why you should not buy it. Number 1, the Pixel Fold is untested. While yes, I do agree it's a first gen of a product, and it's never easy to truly, go off a first gen of a product and trust that it's going to be as successful or as crazy amazing as other phones are, you got to keep in mind how long Google waited to release this phone. It's not like we're back in 2019, 2018, 2020, where foldable phones were pretty much just a mythical thing we talked about, right? We're now in a point where we have almost 5 generations of Samsung foldable phones. We have 2 generations of Oppo foldable phones. We have 2 generations of Vivo, Motorola, so on and so on. Microsoft too, 2 generations of Microsoft. So to say that the phone is untested, while yes it is a first gen product, it also is going off technology that has been, perfected and made widely available for them to really master. Also, they're using Samsung to make their own displays. So it's kind of more or less like they're just taking what everyone, has already perfected and making it into one phone. So to say it's untested is really not 100% accurate. Now, obviously, yes, it is using the Tensor G2 chip. We don't know how that's going to function fully, versus the Snapdragon Gen 1 or Gen 2 chip. But at the same time, though, with Google track record, I think they'll be just fine, and I think this phone will be just fine. I think it's kind of crazy to say it's untested. Number 2. Delivery date is confusing. It is kind of confusing. Because Amazon lets you pre-order it, but you can't pre-order it to the 20th. Right now, if you pre-order it from Google's website, it says that you won't get it until June 27th, July 1st. So it's kind of up in the air of when this is actually going to ship out, when it's going to be delivered. Based on what you understand, it's going to be delivered. It's going to be shipping out next month, and most likely coming by the end of the month. So it's not really too confusing, but it's definitely depending on who you order it from, they might give you different dates. And that is always, kind of weird, especially when it's $1,800 to not know exactly when you're getting your product. But again, like I said, it's one of those things where, we have a general timetable on when you're going to get your product. Number 3, the Galaxy Z Fold 5 is coming. So, this I don't really think is a point not to buy the Google Pixel Fold. And the reason why I say this is because I'm going to guess what they're homing on is that, wait for the Z Fold 5 to come out, see how what it looks like, see maybe you like that phone better, and then make up your mind. Or they could go to the second point, and I'm reading this article and it doesn't really explain too much of what I'm saying right now. That's why I'm not just reading the article. Is that you could look at the opposite point of view and say, well, the Galaxy Z Fold 5 is going to be better. And I really think the Z Fold 5, whether you are waiting for more information or whether you truly believe it's going to be better, it really comes down to personal preference, right? The Z Fold 5 and the Google Pixel Fold are not the same device. While the Surface Duo 3 eventually comes out, will be very similar to the Google Pixel, it's not the same with the Z Fold 5. Z Fold 5 has a outside display that is long, narrow, and not as candy bar cell phone as many would like. The Pixel Fold fixes that problem. The Z Fold 5 is fully waterproof with wireless charging, NFC. The Pixel Fold doesn't have all the features the Z Fold 5 has. What the Pixel Fold does have is, first off, a beautiful outside display that is a candy bar cell phone. It's more, in my opinion, it makes more sense, how the body looks of the actual phone. And it also has some beautiful cameras on this device. So again, not everyone is going to love the Z Fold or go for Z Fold. Some people are going to be Z Fold 5 camp, and some people are going to be Google Pixel camp. Big difference there is, of course, the Tensor G2 chip versus the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip. 8.1 Gen 2 chip. So, I say for that camp of, well, the Z Fold 5 is coming out. If you're a Z Fold fan and you buy all the Z Folds, then yeah, you probably should wait. But if you're not and you're trying to get into foldable phones right now, the Z Fold 5 is not going to be leaps and bounds above the Z Fold 4. It's not going to be. It's going to be very similar in every way. So it's not like if you look at the Z Fold 4 now and you say, I don't even want that phone, you go Google Pixel Fold then. Don't rush. It's not worth it. And again, like I said, to kind of go into the last point right there is, yes, it is true rushing at this point. You don't have to, right? Because you have the Google Pixel Fold that's coming, Google Pixel Fold right now. You have the Galaxy Z Fold 5 that's coming out in July, a month early. Then you have the Surface Duo 3 that possibly is coming out in September, October. And then you have OnePlus that releasing their foldable phone in August. So it is correct. I mean, you do not have to rush. You can just, kind of chill, relax, and wait and see what comes out. Especially because, again, keep in mind, Surface Duo 3 is going to be $1,500. Z Fold 5 is going to be $1,800. Pixel Fold is $1,800. The OnePlus is probably going to be in a ballpark range of $1,200, $1,300. So there's a lot of phones coming out and a very big price tag on all these phones. So it's not like you buy the phone now, you're like, oh, I want it now, and then it's only like this amount of money. It's $1,800. It's a lot of money to go ahead and go into. But that's why I will say this statement I'm about to say is, I believe if I'm ranking all the phones that we know of and the ones I just listed, right? Based on what we have seen so far, and I'll say based on what we've seen so far from MBKHC video, based on what I've seen from other reviews, early reviews from Google, from all the stuff, and the rumors we know about the Z Fold 5. The Z Fold 5 and the Pixel Fold right now are neck and neck at the #1 phones for each category. They're like 1A, 1B, right? They're very close and very similar. Next phone down the list there is the Surface Duo 3. And that is questionable because Microsoft, if they do release Surface Duo 3, has already been very vocal that they don't care about supporting any of their products. So that's kind of a red flag. And then OnePlus obviously only released really in China, so that's not going to help you out if you're American. And then you go down the list there, okay, well, who else is there? Oppo maybe comes out with an Oppo Find N3. That's going to be China/European countries. Probably not going to help you out if you're American. So, this is really the most polished phone outside of a Z Fold 5 you're going to get. And if you say, well, it's a first-gen product, if you go with Surface Duo 3, that's a first-gen product too. I don't think a lot of people realize that Surface Duo 3 is not going to be a third-gen product. It's going to be a first-gen. It's going to be you starting over because now it's one foldable display rather than two separate displays. So, I'm going to say this right now. In my personal opinion, after seeing everything I've seen, I think this phone's amazing. I personally think this phone's amazing, and I would not say, I would go completely against this article and say go buy it. Peace.